No, 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 no.
I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts. I do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. I did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Oh, these are jokes. Come on.
I objectify women. I hate women. Both things can be true.
It was a fucking joke, you cunts! It's a joke, you fucking cunts!
Sexism in gaming.
I'm good.
Fuck you! Fuck you, buddy.
Fucking grow up, you stupid authoritarian humorless.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and they're actually trying to do it. They're actually trying to blame gamers. I'm not kidding you, for everything that happened over the weekend. I think the event I'm talking about. It's so insulting, so beyond pathetic. Look, I think everybody can get kind of sucked into the, blame game for, political points a little bit when things like this happen. But I do think that the overwhelming majority of these are mental health issues. It's just not as great to use when they want to grab your protection. It's not as spicy of a headline, but I think it's pretty clear that everyone who's ever participated in this type of activity is a lunatic. The news that we receive from our media is partisan and pathetic. Grave standing for ratings. Saturday, blame Fox News was trending on Twitter, even though, from what I understand, this dude didn't like Fox News. By his own words, he was left wing, but he also was clearly I don't know, I'm clearly racist, I would assume, or supremacist of some sort, but just a lunatic. Of course, it's treated differently by the media. You can't even read his document explaining everything, which reads like some weird auto-populated bot wrote it. They want the media to tell you what was in it. There are inconvenient things in that document. In particular, him saying, when I was 12, I was into communist ideology. Talk to anybody from my old high school and ask, and you'll hear that. From 15 to 18, I consistently moved farther to the right, which people are like, oh, he's far right. But continued, on the political compass, I fall in the mild, moderate, authoritarian left. Okay? I don't care what his politics were. He was a loser. I'm not going to say his name. I think, it would have been better if he never left that scene, in my opinion, in Minecraft. But like the jockeying for political points is just messed up. Why can't people read the document themselves? Twitter is literally blocking it. Well, because they don't want you to. They want CNN to tell you what it said. And then you get people like this, Fruscurin. I wish internet communities would recognize that their spaces have been infiltrated, manipulated, and hijacked by nefarious groups via meme propaganda. Just jokes, bro, until hatred becomes normalized, then becomes radicalized, then becomes a crime. By the way, this guy that did that is closer to Vosh on the political spectrum than he is Tucker Carlson. But again, everybody simply ignoring the guy's own words because it's about, oh, he's a white guy who did it. Definitely gonna make sure we cover every ounce of this the way we want to cover it. Didn't cover the Asian guy that walked into a church this weekend. Didn't cover the 21 people in Milwaukee after the Bucks game on Friday. Didn't cover, there's, whatever happened to that subway guy in New York? Nobody knows. Whatever happened to that darn car in Waukesha that, so it's just it would be upsetting if it wasn't so predictable. Look, all of these people are awful, awful humans. There are many people, billions of people on this planet. Some small percentage of them are evil, demonic, and they don't all have, contrary to popular belief, they don't all have the same politics. In fact, many of them are probably apolitical. They're just lunatics doing lunatic things. But humans, we have to assign some sort of motive. We must understand what is, quite frankly, ununderstandable. What would drive a human being to walk in, to a store and do these things is not something we can understand. Anybody who pretends that they understand it is lying. The only people that could understand what was going through this loser's mind is this other people that did similar things. We can blame the tool that was used. We can blame their favorite YouTubers. We can blame who they voted for. No. Personal responsibility is a thing, okay? It sure was an inconvenient fact that guy in Waukesha was a big BLM guy. But that was never covered, right? I live here, 5 minutes away from where the parade was, 10 maybe. Okay, the people didn't go home from that. People forget all about that. Instantly, the bodies are still warm, and they're like, yeah, but who did they vote for? What's on their Facebook? What's on their social media? I get sucked into that too. It's wrong. And then you have blaming memes. And then we get gamer was a great example of how language and a cause were hijacked by bad faith actors. Yeah, like Anita Sarkeesian, who wanted nothing to do with gaming communities until they recognized they could weaponize the conflict for their own agenda. Actually, let me rephrase that. They wanted nothing to do with gaming communities until they recognized they could grift millions of dollars out of pretending to care. And if you would read up about how was used by these bad faith actors and directly played into radicalization pipelines online, I recommend 2 hilariously biased documentaries. Some of the replies. Girl, people meme on the internet. This is Nina Infinity, friend of the channel. It's just the way of the time. Sometimes they go too far, but most of the time they are funny. You gotta have a good sense of humor. You clearly don't. Salty Cracker. Shout out to Salty Cracker. You left-wing goofballs took 32 last summer and did $2 billion worth of business damage, businesses based on your rhetoric. Damage. You don't get to lecture anyone. There's Ricky. I'm sure he said something very spicy. I mean, the replies are gold. What we're witnessing here is an evolution of thinking. Froska's finally realized her side cannot win because of mockery, so the mockery becomes the problem. Mockery is essential. It points out absurdity. The left can't meme now becomes memes are hate crimes. GG again, really? That's the best you have? This isn't even the only take on it. Here we have Leslie Mack, who is very first thing, the most important thing you need to know about her are pronouns in her bio. She is a digital strategist and a director at We Join Frontline and co-host of Blackberry Fans podcast. Black women sounded the gamer alarm decades ago. You did? About what? Decades ago, people were still playing PlayStation 1 and there was no internet. In wide scale, anyway. Of course, 29 quote tweets, replies disabled. Because you know when you're talking junk, you have to disable the replies. And then we get this Ellie Mistel, who, oh man, had just had 2 chef's kiss of gems over the weekend. First, getting busted lying about people saying insane things in Hearthstone chat, which we're going to cover in the Blizzard Wokometer, which they have now, which is hilarious. Everyone is on this. This is Fox News' fault. And it is, even though there's no correlation or connection to that at all anywhere. But I want to focus on another community to blame. I follow closely, and that is gamers. I tend to follow streamers, YouTubers who explicitly don't go in for these type of supreme dog whistles, obviously, but a lot of them don't call them out. I get 25,000 likes blaming gamers for this. Is there any indication that this guy even was a gamer? No. I get it. For the most part, these people are young, not particularly well versed in things like the history of these types of movements, and avoid policies as uncool and, more importantly, unhelpful to their monetization strategies. They're overwhelmingly white and male, and then have been taught and told to associate words like diversity and inclusion with someone coming to reduce the chest size of their tunes. But it is that. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's literally something that we've seen. There's dozens of examples of it. How about Tifa in the Final Fantasy VII Remake? How about Blizzard removing all the in-game? They went so far because they hired a bunch of creeps that they went into their game and made all the women ugly. That was something they actually did in the name of diversity and inclusion. Okay? So and it's just gaslighting like it's not a thing. They see this obvious supremacist stuff in the chat, in their comments, they ignore it, laugh it off, or pivot to another, make everyone feel nice and happy again. Any examples of this? No, we're just making things up? Oh, okay. I figured. Ellie Mistal. Justice correspondent. Ooh, fancy name. Twitch is constantly behind, like all platforms. There's no AI solution that does a good job of distinguishing between, white boys ranting and white replacement. Because of Fox and the GOP talking about are often the same thing now. I say this as an old gamer, but a gamer nonetheless, and one who is openly black while I play. There are entire worlds of permissiveness for this stuff. It's not just the chans and the dark web. I'm a public black guy who periodically gets yelled at by Fox News directly. Maybe, I don't know. Never heard of you. I don't really watch Fox News, though, so maybe that's true. I mean, you haven't provided any evidence of your claims anywhere else in this thread, but, most of the times I've been called the N-word in real life, like the numerical majority of times it's been in general chat in a video game or an open voice public matchmaking lobby, which they pretty much don't even anymore because it's so toxic. This is somebody who lied publicly and got tons of tweets saying that they got called the N-word in Hearthstone, when Hearthstone doesn't even have a voice or group chat or text chat. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't people on Call of Duty and places like that that talk like this, because I've heard it, and it's cringe and stupid, and it's dumb and bad. But there's so many people grifting off it, pretending like it's literally ruining their lives, that it's hard to take these clowns seriously when they want to blame gamers for what happened. Absolutely disgusting. I hope you were informed by this video. And if you were, please make sure you click that red subscribe button down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.